when you're releasing that arrow, you absolutely know that arrow is going to hit its mark.
Yeah.
Because you've trained for it. The thing about all of it is that until you experience it, you really don't know. It's one of those things where people think they can keep it together. I kind of equate it to like a fight, because a lot of people think like, oh man, if I get in a fight, don't worry about me, bro. I know
Yeah.
how to fight. But the reality is, like, in an actual physical confrontation, if you don't have any experience in it, you're gonna freak out. Your heart rate's gonna go through. Your heart rate is gonna go through the roof.
Yeah.
You're gonna gas out almost instantly. You're gonna full panic. You're gonna have tunnel vision. It's like you need to experience that to understand what it is, and
Yeah.
to say that you can be calm.
At least they're manifesting it around him. Like you've been in the mountains, you've been, you're on a backpack, sheep hunt or something for 6, 7 days in it. There's a bunch of money involved, a bunch of time involved, and then the guy gets a shot opportunity, and there's so much pressure, and there's like at that moment, and then boom, the gun goes off, and I always the first question I always ask, because it tells me a whole lot about what probably happened. I always ask a hunter, like, how did it feel? That's my first question to a hunter after he
Right.
shoots, because that'll tell me a lot about what's going on. And I can several times I've had a guy go, I wish I wouldn't have shot. And I'm like, why? Like, why did you shoot? And the only thing I can,
Anxiety,
yeah, it's just
panic, get it over with.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
why did you shoot?
Well, do you ever have a
know?
conversation with them before that about that, and
Oh, yeah.
tell them, like, do not shoot unless you're ready? There's
Yeah.
going to be a thing. You have.
Oh
that?
yeah. Because my deal is like, and this is a very basic way to look at it, and I'm sure Joel would have a more sophisticated way for people who have time to go through the process. But I always tell guys with rifle hunting, if you don't, the primary thing you have to do is you have to get a good rest in the mount.
Yes.
With that's like key.
That's the beauty of rifle hunting over bow hunting.
Yeah.
Is that with a good rest, and if you're prone in particular, like
Yeah.
People are literally risking their lives.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like, that's the species where people die the most, right? They fall off cliffs.
So
Is that-
it might be by volume. In terms of my experience, mountain goat hunting is the worst by far.
same kind of a situation, though.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is, Joe, mountain goats, they where the sheep stop, mountain goats start. You know what I mean? Dude, I cannot tell you how many times I've sat on goats just and been like, there's no way we're going to kill them there because there's no way we'll get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was actually talking to one of my guides about a week ago about it, and he's like, Cliff, there's 3 times that I felt like there was a chance of me dying in my lifetime, and 2 of them when I was guiding mountain goats for you. Dude, it's just they live in the steepest shit you can imagine, man.
Yeah.
And I love them, dude. They're cool.
They are cool.
They're
And
way
the
cool.
way they can move off on insanely steep ledges.
Blow your
it's-
mind.
I
Yeah.
just like, do they have like flexible hooves? Like
Yeah. So they have
they
a
grip.
yeah. Their foot it's wider.
There they go. Look at them. Look at this motherfucker.
Yeah. These I believe.
That's not mountain.
I think
goats,
that's
it's
a
different kind
type of ibex.
ibex. Yeah.
But same
But
stuff,
like, look
dude.
at that.
Yeah.
I mean, what in the fuck is happening here? Like, if I saw a man doing that, I'd be like, dude, get down, please, don't do this. Don't fucking do it. Like, this thing just knows how to do it.
Yeah.
But why is it not scared of heights? Like, what has genetic...
Yeah. There's that's a mountain
that's
goat
a mountain
there.
goat. Mountain goats are beautiful.
Dude, they're stunning, man.
They're so beautiful. That look at that. That guy's like holding it with his face. That's so crazy that they do that.
Yeah.
That they literally walk up the side of a fucking... That looks like a dam.
That
Look
one
at
might
that.
be
Oh,
fake.
hey. How you
Is that-
doing? What's going on? Just chilling over here. See if you can find the white mountain goats.
Yeah,
though.
there's a
'Cause
bunch of
they're,
pictures there.
they're so beautiful, man. Like, look at that photo. Go back to that photo you just had.
Soul
Look at that photo.
Caliber
That's so beautiful.
6.
Oh yeah, they're
Look at
way
that.
cool, man.
How delicious are they? They good?
They're not my favorite game meat, but they're pretty good.
That's
They're
where I'm
fine.
out. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm only interested in hunting things that I really want to eat.
Yeah,
You
the
know?
primary.
I shot a javelina recently, and I had it converted into chorizo. I was going to try it this morning, but I got up late.
I never tried it, but I haven't heard great things, man.
Well, the guys at the ranch that I'm at say if you turn it into chorizo, it's actually very good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll
Sure.
see. We're gonna find out tomorrow because it was supposed to be my breakfast this morning, but I got up late.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah,
But no, mountain goats are. I mean, they're not gonna rank up with like elk to
Right.
me, you know.
yeah. So that's why I'm out.
Yeah,
It's like
go elk
unless
hunting.
they run out of elk, well, which may happen in Colorado.
Yeah.
rules.
Who knows?
Yeah, well, Colorado has more elk than I think any other state. Right?
Yeah.
For now.
By quite a bit. And in terms of hunting opportunity, because they have so much over the counter stuff, which is starting to change a little bit. It's way more than other states.
For now.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, actually, back to the
Oh.
yeah. Back to what we were talking about on that, man, because I don't think I did a great job of explaining myself with the Yellowstone deal in that video. What I was getting at, Joe, is that people don't realize that when Yellowstone released elk out as transplants, so that was a way to actually control the population in Yellowstone.
I see.
And then
Yeah.
the rangers in the 60s, they were actually shooting them too. They were shooting them to suppress the population. And they actually, what happened in the early 60s, they had like massive controversy on the park. And this is all documented. I'm a nerd, so I've read the history of it. But they wanted to have a hunt on the park to do exactly what this video claims the wolves did in the 90s. There was a lot of discussion in the 60s of having, like a draw or whatever and getting a bunch of hunters on the park to solve the range issue. Because see, what happened was they quit transplanting the elk off of it because everywhere, they didn't need to. Nobody wanted the elk. So the elk started to do some damage to the range there. So one of the proposals was to have a hunt in Yellowstone. Maybe just a temporary one or whatever to dissipate the elk. And one of the main reasons it didn't happen is that the park officials, and then I know there's some push from Washington, is they didn't want the elk to not be habituated to people. they in the 60s, it's documented that one of the reasons they didn't have hunters in there is they wanted the elk to be comfortable with people. So to me, and people listening may not find this interesting, but to me, it's like a total bastardization of history, right? It's like, look, you're saying that the wolves did what they did in Yellowstone, and yeah, they probably, they did help because there was way too many wolves, or way too many elk, particularly in those valleys and stuff, and they were hurting the range. But saying that it was attempted to do it with human intervention and it failed is a total lie.
Well, also there's a lot of value in taking those elk from there and like moving them to Kentucky and Pennsylvania and all those places where they've repopulated elk, because elk used to be in basically every state, right?
Right. In the plains. And there's a lot of.
What do you think about that American Prairie Reserve situation?
I'm not super familiar with it, but my understanding is it's basically trying to are they directly buying up a bunch of private land?
They're doing block management on it. They're buying up all this land, and they want to convert it into this, but they're going to allow hunting on it.
Yeah. I mean,
they're going to turn it into this wild area with bison and pronghorn and everything. And it's like they have this design to sort of rewild that, but in a way with ungulates.
Yeah, I mean, I think all that stuff to me is a good idea, as long as that we rewild it and it makes sense in a way that hunters or people can still utilize it.
Yes.
I don't think it's so weird, Joe, because I think sometimes we forget that it's not like we're well, maybe who knows, but it's not like we're aliens. Like, we're part of the ecosystem too, man.
Yes, we are. But we don't think of ourselves as, because we're so far removed. We're so smart. We want to pretend that we're different.
Yeah.
That we shouldn't kill. We want to kill every day.
Dude, that's exact. Isn't that the crazy thing?
Like the steak in the garbage.
Yeah, dude. But like, everybody thinks that because Joe Rogan, there's a picture of him with a dead elk, that somehow that's different than somebody who indirectly still just lives their life and consumes, right?
Yeah, it's just ignorance. It's all it is. It's like I would tell those people, hey, come hunting with me, but I don't want them to. Like. Imagine if you're at full draw and they're like, "Get away!"
Yeah. That would not be.
That's a year worth of meat to me, you fucking idiot.
Not be good.
Yeah, but it's just a lack of understanding, and it's so difficult to truly understand unless you've experienced it. I'm very grateful that Steve Ranella took me out the first time. I did it with my friend Brian Callen from Meat Eater. We went mule deer hunting.
Yeah.
And it was so much harder than I ever thought it was going to be, and it was so much more interesting than I thought it was going to be. And then there's a thing that ignites inside of you, very similar to the fishing thing, where you catch a fish, you're like, ooh. There's a thing when you're stalking an animal that your brain goes, oh yeah, I know what this is.
Yeah.
We've done this before. Like,
sure.
There's like a pathway in the mind that exists for that. Like, this is how you acquire meat. And there's an excitement to it because you're going to be able to feed your family.
Right.
So when I brought that meat back home and I was cooking it and I fed my family with this deer that I ate. Oh, I had decided that day. Like, I remember I was cooking with Ranella. We were eating the mule deer over the fire, and we were talking about it. I said, I'm doing this forever.
Yeah.
I'm doing this now.
Sure.
This is my new thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing, and he was laughing.
Yeah.
He loved it. He loved it that he converted me, because Callan never really got converted. He'll hunt with me and he'll hunt occasionally, but I fucking block off time.
Yeah,
I'm
focused
hunting.
on it.
I'm hunting.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a primary part of my diet. I eat deer meat all the time. When I did the UFC last weekend, when John Jones fought, Daniel Cormier, who's he's the commentator next to me, and he's a good friend of mine. I always would bring him snacks, because I'd bring him, there's this company called carnivore snacks, and they make these like delicious
Okay.
snacks. So I'll bring him beef jerky, and this time I brought him deer sausage.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I can't eat deer because I ate bad deer once, and I eat deer, I get sick. I go, just try a little piece of this summer sausage. Just
Yeah.
try. He's like, oh shit, this is good. So he started talking about it on the air. He's like, Joe's got me eating deer sausage.
Yeah.
So in the middle of one of the fights, he's talking about like me feeding him deer sausage.
Sure. Well, dude, I can tell you in my business, Joe, I mean, I'm sure you know this, but you're talking about your little inner circle. You actually created like a trend within hunting. I would have guys call me, like 3-4 years ago, and it would always be kind of the same story. Like they're 35 years old, and they're into, maybe they're jujitsu guys or something, and just talking to them, having a conversation with them, but they want to come do their first elk hunt, and I would always ask, like, dude, like, what got you into it? It's always you, man. Like, you started like this mega trend, and it was kind of like I could almost identify my clients. I was like, oh yeah, like I know that those guys, they probably got like their influence or their motivation from you. So it's pretty wild to see,
Well, I feel like the more people that get into it, there's a lot of people that don't like that. They don't like that the trailheads are full. They don't like that there's a lot of people out there wandering around. But you can't think like that. You can't think like that. Those are allies. You need those people. You need more people that understand what it is.
Right.
And to think differently, I think, is very selfish and very stupid and foolhardy. I think you have to think about the small amount of people that hunt. I don't even know what is the percentage of Americans who hunt regularly.
Oh, it's small.
Let's guess.
I want to say it's 3%.
I don't even think it's 3. I'm gonna guess it's less than 3 who hunt regularly. I mean, I don't know what regularly is. There's probably different metrics that we could apply, but it's very small.
Yeah.
And I do understand. What does it say here? 15 million hunting licenses were issued, U.S. population that year, so 4.6%.
Yeah, but you're probably right, Joe. I bet you that less than half of them really hunt regularly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
regularly.
Yep.
But that's still, okay, 4.6% of the U.S. population was issued a hunting license that year. And that's 2020. I think I'm responsible for 1%.
Yeah, I bet you are, man. Now, I can tell you this. From individuals that started hunting that are older than 25 and didn't have like a father that hunted or a family that hunted, you're responsible for way more than 1% of them, man.
That's hilarious. But listen, if those people can do it and be successful, they'll experience what I've experienced.
Oh yeah.
And there's also the argument like, oh, you're wealthy, you experience things differently, you get to go places other people can't go. Yeah, that's true. So I don't know what to tell you. What do you want me to do? Not be wealthy? Like, shut the fuck up. Just stop making excuses.
It's not really relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not relevant. And also, there's plenty of opportunities for people that aren't wealthy.
Well, dude, that's the thing, man. If you're in the U.S., from a hunting perspective, regardless of like your economic situation, you got the best opportunities on the hunting front.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the rest of the world.
I mean, the New Zealanders got some great opportunities too. It's just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But here, it's like you said, like it's probably the most economical hunting situation I think there is in the world if you're an American.
Yeah. Texas is not the best. Texas is it's great if you have money because there's all these private ranches, but Texas is like 90-something% private land.
Right.
And neighborhoods with deer.
Yeah.
If you're a jackass. It's like, I keep an eye on the deer in my neighborhood in case shit goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many of them. They're fucking everywhere, man. They're everywhere. Because mountain lions out here are basically like coyotes. You see a mountain lion, you just shoot it.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's coming from California where you go to jail.
Yeah, different way they manage them.
This is better.
Yeah. Do you have any interest in hunting lions?
I do. Yeah. I'd like to eat one of them.
Dude, they're you talk about like the heart thump.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I'm sure.
When I got into hunting them, Joe, like when dogs have one treed or in a cave or something like that, and you're making your way up there, and it'll make your heart blow out of your.
I can imagine.
And even, I love going and just taking pictures of them. Like I got a bunch of pictures on my phone of just me like selfies, just me being a jackass with a lion up here in the tree, or whatever.
The thing that's interesting to me is also the pushback on the dogs, and I get that. I really do get it, especially as someone who loves dogs, because
Sure.
sometimes the dogs die.
Yeah.
But the fairness aspect of it is which is interesting, and that's where I think education is very important and people understanding, especially from someone who's being honest and objective about it. Like, I could absolutely understand why someone would say it is not fair to hunt mountain lions with dogs. But I will tell you that if you want to shoot a mountain lion, you're not going to unless you use dogs.
Yeah.
Or unless you hunt over a dead animal that they've killed, you could find it, locate it. If you think you're going to stalk a mountain lion, you're going to go find them and stalk them, your odds of success are so low.
Right.
Like, you could do it for years and never see one.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just an effectiveness thing, right? The dogs are in terms of managing them.
Yes.
You have to have dogs. Now, I have known a few people, and I actually would love to try it one day. I have tried it a few times without effectiveness. There are a few people that'll walk tracks out the lions, like in the snow. You know, they're just trying to find really fresh tracks, and then they'll walk them out. And I know a couple guys who've killed lions that way, but you're talking. It's a very small subset of lion
It's
hunting.
not the best way to manage their population.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's bizarre about California is they don't manage their populations with hunters. They bring in mercenaries.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, people don't understand. Like, they kill the same amount of lions every year. It's so foolish.
It's a wild thing. It seems like such a waste.
First of all, people, let's explain it to people. Because of the Pittman-Robertson Act, there's a certain percentage of hunting licenses, ammunition, all that stuff is, what is it? What percentage of it is it? 10%?
I can't remember what the tax is.
It
but-
goes to wildlife conservation. It goes
Yep.
to habitat preservation. It goes to taking care of, like, rangers. It's like, it takes care of, like,
Right.
it's a beautiful situation. It's
Yep.
one of the best situations in terms of, like, the way it's managed. It's really beautiful. If you have a state like California that doesn't allow mountain lion hunting, you go, oh, well, that's good. We need to preserve the mountain lion population. Incorrect. They kill the same amount of mountain lions.
Right.
They kill them, though, with mercenaries. So they bring in some guy who's a mountain lion hunter, and
Yeah.
he uses dogs, and he finds these mountain lions that are troubled mountain lions, and they wind up killing the same number of them.
Yeah.
But now the state pays
Yeah.
this guy to go do it
Yeah.
instead of you paying the state.
Right.
So instead of the Pittman-Robertson Act applying where, all this money now, where all these people apply for tags, all these people get tags, they go mountain lion hunting,
Yeah.
and all that goes towards conservation.
Yeah. So you're talking about the direct tag revenue. And Pittman Robertson is the tax on like
Guns
yeah,
and
guns
ammo
and stuff like
but
that.
all that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff goes in, and it's crazy. Like, and the thing is, this has come up in this wolf thing in Colorado a ton. Like, I've seen public comments. Well, we need to have, if there is ever lethal control, it needs to be done by like professionals, right?
Hilarious.
And it's like,
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, who are these professionals?
Are you going to,
You know?
yeah, by the way, are there any?
Yeah, well,
what have they been doing all these years?
Dude, that's
these
the
pro
thing.
wolf hunters where you can't hunt wolves.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so funny. I guarantee you that the guys doing the lion, dealing with lions that are trouble in California, they're hounds guys. They're guys
100%.
that grew up lion hunting.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm just obsessed with this. The only way I can do it is if I'm working for the state or
Yes,
whatever.
I know a guy does it.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
like into lion hunting.
And
He's
here's
a
what's
hounds
the
guy.
fucked up part. When there was a recent thing in the Bay Area where they did an analysis of the contents of their stomach.
Yeah.
It's 50% domestic pets.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Once they
50%.
figure it out.
Half of their diet
Dude.
is your dog.
I talked to a guy. Well, I talked to a guy's son who was involved in a very long-term study of lions, and he was a houndsman, and he followed like the same toms year after year. Tom's just the term for a male lion, and what they found is that what he found and observed is whatever that lion's mom taught him to kill is usually what they would focus on. So, which is wild to think about. And I think some of these, when lions are pushed up against human populations, their moms start to, it's like passed down generationally. Like, we're going to kill pets or whatever. But as it applies to, more normal situations, he told me that he would follow a tom that they treed and collared like year after year, and that tom would only kill bull elk. Like, he would walk through, tons of mule deer and only kill bull elk. Like,
Wow.
just kill after kill, for years would just be a bull elk, and he might, whatever. And then there'd be weird ones. He said, like, they'd be following lions, and they'd find a cat that only killed coyotes.
Wow.
Or, and maybe made some exceptions sometimes, but generally knew how to kill it, and, they'd figure that out.
Kind of makes sense though.
Yeah. Their just mom just shows them the deal. Because, man, their moms, I mean, I have pictures from outfitting from cameras and stuff like that, where you'd see these female lions with 2 kittens, and if I showed them to you, you're like, dude, that's not, those aren't baby lions. It's like a pride of mountain lions, because they keep them with them. They keep their kittens with them for a couple of years sometimes, where they're big. You know? So I think they learn from their mom or whatever. But dude, they're fascinating.
They're amazing.
Freaking
animals.
Cool.
Man, I feel the same way I feel about wolves. I'm so glad they exist.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to be surrounded by them.
Yeah. Well, dude, and the thing is like, I get what a lot of people are going to say about the wolves thing. They're like going to be like, well, Cliff, Joe, you guys are being dicks, because really what you want is you just want more animals to hunt, and you want to suppress the wolf population because of that. And yeah, part of it is that. At least speaking for myself, part of it is.
Yeah, every hunter would say that.
Yeah, part of it.
You want more
is
opportunities.
That, But there's the other point too, man, that you said, Joe, with just if you're being rational about the economics, and you assume, like, take Colorado, you just assume, hey, this ecosystem, there's a lot of people living here, there's a lot of, other activities that affect the ecosystem. We have to have a rational, economic approach of how we're going to take care of these animals and manage them. The wolf deal, like, I just did the rough math in my brain, and you take a wolf, and a wolf's going to kill 10 to, I think the estimate's like 12 to 18 elk per wolf per year, right? And so I was doing the math, like, your elk hunting in Colorado is basically, the success rate on most of the units is 10 to 15%. It's fairly low. It's tough hunting, in their, I call them over the counter units. And just so your listeners know, that just means you can go buy a tag. You don't have to put.
Yeah, you just go to a sporting goods store. Or wherever,
it's not rash and just put a tag. So, anyways, you got 15% success rate. So that means if one wolf, just what he eats per year, he's going to kill 15 elk. That takes 100 tags that they can't sell, right? Because if you calculate in the success rate,
right?
So 100 tags. I mean, I'm guessing roughly, Joe, like the state's getting probably $300 a tag, right? Between, like, non-residents pay more than residents, whatever, but it's like $300 a tag. That means that wolf is eating $30,000 a year worth of CPW revenue. One wolf.
Yeah.
And that is wild, man.
It's wild to think about it that way, about revenue. But it's also the thing that gets me more than that even is the domestic animals, is cattle, sheep.
Oh, the livestock.
These people that are running livestock, like, they're fucked.
Yeah, well,
like, you're gonna have to deal with a whole new situation.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive pain in their ass. Now, they are going to get compensated. They will get compensated to the extent that they can prove it, and there's a whole system that's being worked out. So they'll get compensated for, livestock that is killed by wolves.
I have a photo. Jamie, see if you can find that photo that I put up on Instagram when I was hunting with my friend Mike Hawkridge and Ben O'Brien up in BC, where these wolves, we had found this moose calf right after these wolves had torn it to shreds.
Yeah.
And it was it was amazing because there was hair everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't anticipate. I was like, oh, wow, this is weird.
Yeah.
There's fucking hair everywhere. I thought you'd just see like bones and they would chew the meat off the
Oh
bones.
yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't even think about the hair.
They tear like tufts of it off as
Yeah.
they're digging it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just hair scattered
Yeah.
everywhere, and then these bones that were just stripped
Yeah.
down
Just wipe
by
it
these
out.
wolves.
Oh yeah.
And we had gotten there just very shortly after it had happened. Maybe it happened the morning of,
Yeah.
or the night before.
Yeah, and they just get after it and just clean it.
And they do that every fucking day.
Oh yeah, man.
Every
single
day they're constantly doing it, and they love it.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. And they're fucking mean to each other too. That's the other thing. All you tree huggers, you have to.
Oh,
you need to watch what they do to the beta males.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they tear them apart.
It'd be a rough existence being
Yeah.
a guy down the totem pole a little bit in one of those packs.
Yeah.
You're starving plus getting your ass kicked every
Yeah,
time.
they're fucking tearing apart your hamstrings. Yeah, it's like they're ruthless animals, man. That's a literal dog eat dog world.
Survivors, man. But
Yeah.
imagine how good they get at it. And they have all these tactics and stuff. I don't know how much of it's true or proven, but I've been with guys in British Columbia. They say they use the roads. The wolves use the roads to kill moose. Like they'll
Really?
they'll because you get in areas in British Columbia that used to be real remote, and then they put in logging.
Mm-hmm.
And then logging, there's a bunch of logging infrastructure. Yeah, and in the snow.
Find it? No, can't find it. I want to say it's from
Brian. Who else was it? Were you with? Sorry.
Mike. Well, it's Mike Hawkridge's outfitting. Shout out to Mike in British Columbia. That was the first time, and actually the only time I ever hunted moose. That's
that's a cool picture
yeah,
with your
yeah. Eat what you kill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found
You
that
found it?
picture.
Oh.
I found the moose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the moose. That's
Moves up really fast.
that's.
Let me try the moose.
But there's an image of that was on my Instagram of the moose calf that we found just covered in hair. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I could probably find it on my phone if we can't find it. But it's
I know what you're talking about
yeah.
though, where they get where like the tufts of hair all
everywhere.
over the place.
It's
Yeah,
just you just don't until you see it. You're like, oh, this is happening constantly.
yeah.
Like they're just a cleanup crew, just burning through the
Yeah.
forest trying to find these animals, like scanning.
Oh, yeah.
Scanning.
Yeah.
There's one. Let's move. Circle around them.
Yeah.
You guys get in front. We'll get to the sides.
Yeah,
cut
yeah.
them off.
Well, that's what I was talking about. So, and I don't know for sure this is proven or true or whatever, but the guys say that the tracks are like this. These wolves will get on the logging road, and like the main pack will work the logging road because it's easier in the snow. There's no downfall and stuff. So they'll work the road, and then they'll basically cycle a couple wolves off the road. Off into they'll go out into the trees and try to pick up moose or whatever out there, and then that wolf will get tired and he'll come back to the logging road, and then another one will go out. Pretty wild, huh?
I wonder how they coordinate that, and I wonder how they pick who does what. And
Probably instinct, or I don't know. Like, because they're dogs, they're not like they're not capable of like communicating with each other. I
I
suppose.
wonder if they're communicating with pheromones or something. Maybe there's some way that we don't understand, where they just. It could be just instincts bred off of doing that so many times.
Yeah.
It's just an unspoken language.
What's crazy is, man, fish do it too. Like you were talking about tarpon, they do the same thing. Like you'll see them, they'll get around mullet and they herd them up, into a bait ball. And I even noticed in like marinas and stuff, they'll herd bait like back in a corner, Like
Yeah, you see them in marinas, which is crazy. You ever seen there's videos of people dunking their hand in the water with a hot dog, and a tarpon comes and grabs their
arm? They get
arm?
habituated to feeding.
How
So they'll
weird.
come to like fillet tables where they're fed, or places where they they get fed.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, but they'll,
Huge tarpon
oh yeah,
biting people's arms.
yeah, pretty wild. It's nuts, man. But they do the same thing, like those tactics. And you know what I've learned to do? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sound like a total dork here, but I've gotten really into throwing a cast net to catch bait.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like this is like I get
That's cool.
I get infatuated with these things. So me and my little boy, like every morning at sunrise, like we're gonna go catch bait to go fishing. So what you realize is I get up at, I call them like my little glassing points, but they're literally like, I mean, my house is in a country club there, dude. So I'm like cruising down on my golf cart with my cast net. Like I'm the only guy in the country club that does this kind of shit, you know. But anyways, we go to my little glass spots where we can look, you know, down the marina. We can look on the ocean for birds or whatever, working bait. But a lot of times, how we find the bait is you can see the tarpon, like kind of pushing them around, you know.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and then they'll get them again. See, they'll get that bait like over on the side somewhere where I can throw a net on it.
Yeah.
You know, because if it's out there and it's dispersed, like it's hard for me to net it. But
I went fishing in Mexico once, and there was I think there were Jack Crevalle that were they had like this swarm of them that were attacking bait fish, and I'm telling you, it was like half a football field.
Yeah,
and you just cast into there and immediately
but they had the bait like balled up.
Yeah.
Isn't it wild? And
it was
then
wild.
they think they ball the bait up and they just whack.
Yeah, they just whack them.
Yeah.
And you just cast into that chaos.
Oh yeah.
And you're pulling fish out.
Yeah. No, it is. It's cool how, I guess I didn't mean to get off track, Joe, but how are they communicating, man?
Right.
Because
How
it
do
sure
they
as hell seems
coordinate
like they
that?
are.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, but maybe it has to. You see the bait fish do that too. Like they're somehow knowing to turn and everything.
Yeah. Well,
how
that's
they
like
do it.
birds.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
how are they doing that? We don't really understand how they don't slam into each other.
Yeah. Who
Like
knows?
people bumping each other in the street.
Right.
Like how do birds flying in the sky?
Yeah. Without any verbal communication
it's
or whatever.
amazing.
I don't
It's
know.
so fascinating. It's like what we don't know about nature could fill volumes.
Yeah,
you know?
dude. That's why I have no interest in the metaverse.
Well, you're not alone, apparently. It's didn't really sell. I thought that was an interesting moment in technological history, because when you got a guy who's as influential as Mark Zuckerberg and with a giant company like Facebook, they literally changed their name to Meta.
Yeah.
And then pump these Oculus headsets out and like this is the next level thing.
Yeah.
And Mark came here and he gave us a demonstration of this stuff, and we did some things like we did a fencing game, and
they're amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Amazing. You know what's the most incredible, dude, is the boxing game.
Okay.
Boxing games are so fun. It's a great workout.
Yeah.
Because you put the headphones on and the headset rather, and the headset is wireless, right? So it's just the thing that sets up to your head, and then you have these things in your hand.
This is the Oculus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start the game and you're in there with a guy and you hit him and you see his face snaps back.
Sure.
And he hits you and you see like a white flash.
It's crazy.
And it's a really good workout.
Oh yeah.
It's a really good workout, and you can actually work on your skills. You can actually.
Oh, it applies.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you're not hitting anything, so it's not like hitting a bag or hitting a mitts.
Yeah.
But you're bobbing and weaving.
Sure.
You're seeing punches coming your way. You're shifting and then countering. There's all this stuff that you do that is fantastic for cardio. It's and it's fun. It's like you're playing a game, but like we had it at the old studio, and I did a couple of rounds. Like, dude, I am exhausted, and more importantly, like my feet hurt. It was like my feet
you're
were
moving
exhausted.
around, sure.
Because
you're like
you're pivoting,
you're flexing
your
feet.
toes in
Yeah.
a weird way. Because we were
yeah.
doing it on concrete,
Sure.
I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
This is a great workout.
Dude, I've played the climbing game. Have you played it?
No.
Dude, the climbing game, when you fall, so you're doing all these crazy like Yosemite climbs or whatever with the thing. My brother has that game.
But when
you fall, it's like,
oh my God, fuck that.
You should do it, man. It'll take your breath away. Like,
Well, they had one that we did where you're walking across a balance beam in between two buildings.
Probably similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, the regular wild is way more interesting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's just as much adventure out there.
But you have to be willing to actually go there. Whereas you could just fucking put that headset on, and all of a sudden you're on the mountains.
Dude, what do you think? What do you think? I always contemplate this, man. Like, what do you think stops people from doing it? Like, just going.
Time.
Yeah.
Time, lack of understanding, no mentors. Just don't have the opportunity.
Sure. Then I think hunting in particular is like that too, man. Like the learning curve is, I don't think steep's like the right term. It's just intimidating. With all the regulations and all that stuff, it's hard for.
I think it's steep.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's steep, and then there's also like understanding the wind. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's so many things that aren't intuitive. Like, where do you start in terms of like buying glass? Like,
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to like, I mean, how many fucking podcasts are there? Like Aaron Snyder has like 5 of them,
yeah,
where you're just breaking down the difference in glass quality on binos, edge
yeah.
to edge detection, and like, fuck.
Sure. Man, dude, in the technology in hunting, in like just the whole gear component of hunting has grown so much in a positive way, in the sense that, you know, gear to go out and do a backpack hunt or something like that, and, pretty rough conditions where it's cold at night and all that, it's so much easier now. There's
Yes.
lightweight tents.
Oh yeah.
There's great layers. Like, this stuff's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
But at the same time, there's part of me, and I guess for some reason this kind of theme has come out in my YouTube channel. I think the whole gear infatuation about it, it intimidates people, and it shouldn't. Like, I hate that to be a barrier, right? Like, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars, or more than that, to go on your first elk hunt. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
You can go do it. It might not be quite as comfortable or whatever, but you don't have to have all the stuff.
I think
you know?
what's one of the most intimidating thing is getting into archery,
Oh, yeah.
because like
Yeah.
you can't just buy a bow and practice. Like, you have to go get it sized. You have
Yeah.
to put the peep in the right place.
Right.
You have to get arrows that match the bow. You have to get a scale that matches the rest,
Yeah.
that matches the sight. Like, all of that is
Oh, yeah.
crazy. Like, how do you
Yeah.
do that on your own? Oh, just run Archer's Advantage software. And like, what?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like, how many grains are your arrows? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the average person just with zero help
Yeah, and
trying to start a bow.
not everywhere has like here in Texas, you guys are spoiled because you got good archery shops.
Oh, we have a great one in Austin. Shout
Yeah.
out to Archery Country. It's fucking phenomenal.
like folks in there that know what they're doing.
I used to send my shit up to the bow rack,
Oh, okay.
in Oregon, Springfield, Oregon,
Yeah.
because it's like such a good place, and that's where Cam's from. I was like, well, they'll just send my bow there, and they'll send it to me. That was
Yeah.
easy.
And they get you set
Yeah,
up.
or Dudley. I would send it to Dudley, and
Yeah,
Dudley
yeah.
would take care of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, for the average person, like, that's not an option. So what do? It's like, you have to go somewhere. They have to measure your draw length.
Yeah.
They have to find out what the peep height is, and then you have to practice. And so you need a place to practice. And a lot of people live in apartments. So how the fuck am I going to practice?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
There's just a
where
lot
do
of
you go?
practical-
There's a lot. A lot.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
lot.
I guess that answers the question, Joe. Is like, you almost have to, in a lot of ways, if you get really into it, you almost have to like shift your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I most certainly changed my lifestyle. When I got into it, I just decided like that was going to be something I'm doing every year.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I
Sure.
have this new thing that is. But for me, it's an amazing reset. Like, my life is filled with so much pressure and stress of a different variety. That's odd that's the most pressure and
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
stress, but it's also the most relaxing.
Yeah.
And the most. It's like just being in the woods, no cell phone service, no nothing, just stalking and just hiking the
Yeah, yeah.
mountains. And also knowing that I have to be in amazing cardio shape.
Sure.
Like, when I'm working out in fucking February, I'm literally thinking while I'm working out in February, the more I push, the less tired I'm going to be in September.
yeah. Sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, but that's cool, man. It's cool when, like, a hobby basically can change somebody's life. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
get obsessed with it, and there's other things that do that.
I think it enriches your life. I really do, because I think complex, difficult things that are very rewarding, and I don't think there's very many things that are as rewarding as hunting, because you're actually getting food from it and actually feed
Sure.
family and friends, and you feed yourself, and it's so nutritious and so much better for you than any other kind of food, that I think that it's one of the most rewarding, difficult things. And I think the more difficult things that a person does on purpose that are rewarding, I'm not talking about like life struggle. I'm talking like choosing to do things, whether it's workouts or tasks or problems you're trying to solve on purpose. those are very valuable to your overall resiliency as a person.
Right.
And I think that is something that I've really gotten from hunting.
Sure. And like every time you do another one, it
Mhm.
becomes easier to take. on
Yes,
those things.
and there's lessons that I learn from each individual hunt. You know, there's
Sure.
things that like I went hunting with Ranella a couple months ago, and it was the first time that I'd ever rattled in bucks, which was wild.
Yeah, yeah.
We were in South Texas,
Sure.
and literally we would set up, and he would start clackety clack, clackety clack, and all of a sudden you hear some sound, and you
Yeah.
got to get to full draw like
Yeah.
right away because these
Oh.
fuckers are just running in.
Yeah, because you're rattling in thick cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
South Texas.
Yeah.
Thick
I got
brush.
you. Yep.
Yeah. So it was very exciting.
Dude, I've never done it, but I know some folks that have really got into rattling.
Oh, my God.
But more in open country, like where they can see a little bit, and you see like whitetail coming from way far away.
Yeah.
Guys rifle hunting.
It's crazy how well it works at the right time. Like when they're down to fuck. It's going down.
Yeah.
Like you're just catching them when they think that there's a brawl going down over some ladies.
Yeah.
So like, oh, must be some hot ladies in that area. So they just start running.
Isn't it funny? And I don't know why this is, but I don't think I'm the anomaly here. Isn't it funny how there's kind of enjoyment in manipulating them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't like with elk. It's the same way.
Oh, it's the best.
I mean, I used to do a fair amount of.
That's it.
Fucking
You
longest
found it.
hunt of all
Oh
time.
yeah.
He found it.
2014.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Took a while
Yeah.
to get there.
So that was back when I was still rifle hunting.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. Look at all the hair.
Tore
All
it
that
up.
stuff on the ground is hair. Which for people at home, this is November 11th, 2014. And it was just hair everywhere. And that was a moose calf that they'd got.
And they just tear it up.
Tore it apart. Look at that. Like everything's gone. The tongue's gone. The esophagus is gone. All the organs are gone. The rib cage still stands, but all the organs have been eaten out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, all the skin off of all the hindquarters is gone, except for the lower parts.
It's funny, man, because they're kind of
Shout out to Mike Hawkridge,
yeah.
my man.
Dogs or coyotes are kind of like that too. They're kind of dirty eaters, but lions, man, they're like tidy, because they don't, they'll store their kills. It's kind of wild. Have you ever seen a lion kill where one's got
No.
it piled up or whatever?
No.
I'm sure I got some pictures on my phone, but it's pretty neat, like how they'll cover it up and it'll be tidy, and they'll come back, come back and they'll peel it back, and
I don't think
Expected.
hunting's for everybody, but I think it's for a lot of people. I just think they don't know it.
yeah, dude, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, believe me.
One of the things about Texas, there's a lot of opportunities for invasive pigs. And my friend Jesse Griffiths, who is the head chef and owner of DISC0RD restaurant
Okay.
in Texas, he has an organization that trains people, teaches people how to hunt, takes them out hunting, shows them how to hunt, how to butcher the pig. What is it called? New School of Traditional
Nice.
Cookery. Yeah, Jesse's the best, and Jesse is an amazing chef. If you're ever in Austin, DISC0RD restaurant is the fucking shit. I love going there. I go there all the time.
Oh, okay, and he has like a little school,
Yes.
and he's doing it with wild pigs.
Yes. Click on that full bore just so you can see some of it. We don't have to play the music, the volume rather. But this is his restaurant, and so in the restaurant he's actually prepping some of these wild boars and showing people how to cook it. And he was with us in South Texas, by the way.
Oh,
And so
okay.
he cooked for us while we were there. He was hunting ducks, and he cooked some duck.
Oh yeah, I saw like something on Instagram.
Yeah, my
about
Instagram.
It. Yeah.
I put it up on Instagram where he was. So he teaches people how to hunt, how to shoot these animals, where to hit them, like the whole deal. He takes them through this whole process, and he does a very small group of people at a time. Shows them how to make sausage.
Yeah, he
shows
goes
them-
through the whole
It's
deal.
amazing,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, man, his His cooking is so good. He took diver ducks and made the most delicious shit you've ever had in your life.
Oh, nice. You know, most people call diver duck shit ducks.
Oh,
'cause
they
it's
were
hard to-
so good though. The
But they
way
were
he
good.
cooked it, but
Yeah.
as you can see it here, he really knows what he's doing. And it was just such a treat to have that guy cook for us
Sure.
while we're down there. It was amazing.
Yeah, well, man, and cooking game, it matters so much, right?
Oh,
There's so many
yeah.
species that people have told me like, oh, dude, you can't eat those. And then if the right guy cooks it, he's like, yeah, it's pretty.
That's why I'm looking for this javelina chorizo. that
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
Cook tomorrow morning. Well, Cliff, thank you very much for being here, man. I'm glad we did this. I was thinking about doing this for a while, so I'm glad we got
Dude,
together.
I'm forever grateful for having me on, man.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
So much.
My pleasure. Oh, tell everybody what your Instagram is so they can find you or whatever social media you use. Your
Yeah.
YouTube page as well.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
So yeah, my
Cliff GRY. It's Cliff Gray, but it's Cliff GRY
yeah.
on
Don't
Instagram.
don't ask me why.
Why don't you have an A?
Because the other Cliff Gray already got
Oh,
it. Man.
okay. So you're Cliff GRY on Instagram.
Yep,
And
on-
then your YouTube channel is you have pursuitwithcliff.com.
Yeah, so pursuitwithcliff.com. I got a newsletter and that sort of thing. People can go on that website and sign up. And then my YouTube is just my name, Cliff Gray.
All right.
And so that's easy to find too.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I look forward to, follow along. Thanks for having me on,
My
man.
pleasure, brother. Very, very fun.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks,
Bye,
dude.
everybody.
Believe in your power. Okay. Battle 1. Fight.
You
Out of the way. Damn it. Away. Victory.
you
Stand aside. waiting.